Hello everyone, I'm a front-end developer at Snowdog and I will talk about digital accessibility in business. And I would like to show how we can all benefit from inclusive attitude on the web. All means our customers and we as providers. So let's go. What is web accessibility? Web accessibility means that websites, tools, and technologies are designed and developed so that people with disabilities can use them. People with disabilities have special access needs for the web content. And we have to cover all of cases of these special needs. We have different types of disabilities. We have vision impairments, and for people with use the screen readers, magnifiers, or braille keyboards. Hearing impairments, people who need the video captioning and audio transcription. Physical disabilities, users who use the different switcher devices, joysticks, voice recognitions, or maybe also eye tracking. And also a big group with cognitive disabilities, so mental health condition, learning problems. And maybe for this group of people, we don't have to care about special hardware, because then they don't need them, but we have to focus on simplicity and readability. So clear design, clear design, logical navigation and simple languages, and also limited distraction for them. We have also the group of older people with different limitation and the people with temporary disabilities. So due to some situation, accident, they have some limitation, like one broken hand, or maybe temporary memory loss. So for all these cases, we have to be prepared, and we have to prepare also our website. And maybe it sounds difficult, but it's not so difficult. My answer for this is inclusive design. According to British Standard Institute, inclusive design is the design of mainstream products and or services that are accessible to and usable by as many people as reasonably possible without special adaptation. So in short, it means that our store should be accessible by default from the beginning. But it's not so hard to use, because inclusive design, it's a little bit like a fusion of accessibility and usability best practices. It means that to accomplish accessibility feature on our website, we have to conform to WCAG AA standard. WCAG is Web Content Accessibility Guideline, which covers all the special access needs for people with disabilities. But moreover, it covers also some usability best practice. It works a little bit like a curb cut. So curb cut were designed to ease an access from the street to the sidewalk for wheelchair users. But all different users also benefit from it, like older people with walking difficulties, parents with baby strollers, cyclists, and skaters. So it's the same case with our website. If it will be accessible for people with severe disabilities, and we cover all these special access needs, it will be also more comfortable, easier, and faster to use for all other customers or other users. I would like to show this case and some examples. Let's take a look. First example is form validation. So with the form validation would be accessible for example, blind people who cannot see the screen. So we don't rely on the color signification, but also on text notification with really focus management and keyboard support, and with all the inputs labels implemented. It will be also usable for colorblind users and for users like we are, so it'll be faster to use. We will know when we are, what are the error messages, etc. Next example, responsive web design. Responsive web design should be like a standard today, but unfortunately it's not. I'm still browsing some websites on my phone, and which require horizontal scrolling. And responsive web design allows us to low vision user, for example, to magnify the content of the web on the desktop viewport, but also allows to display really well the content on the mobile and tablet devices. And it's really important because more than 50% of internet traffic comes from the mobile devices nowadays. Next example, video captioning. Video captioning is required for hearing impairment users. So, but it's also really useful for example, people who had a different native language than our Webster language, because it's really simple to not only hearing the content with a different accent, but only reading it. And the last example is the keyboard support. Keyboard support is required and really useful for mobile disabilities, so for different switchers and also screen readers users. But it's really like advantage for all of us. It's more effective sometimes, or even if we have one hand available, it's easier to press one key, but holding a baby on the hands, it's really faster and more usable to just use the keyboard, not a mouse. And sometimes you just forget about the mouse, so it's easy to use a keyboard. So we have to focus on all these different cases. And now I would like to show why we have to focus on all of this. I would like to show you some stats. So 50% of the world's population lives with some kind of disability. Almost 90% of US population have some type of disability. And among this number, it's over 20.5% have severe disabilities. And it's like over $1.5 trillion of pre-tax income for US household is held by households with at least one people with disability. It's about $220 billion discretionary spending power. I think that the number is quite huge, and I would like to also share some statistics from United Kingdom, because in 2016 the click-away pound survey was conducted in this country, and it showed us really interesting results. We see on this diagram that it's almost 46.5 million people with internet access. And over 8.5 million users have some type of disabilities. And 6.1 million internet users have impairments that affect the way that they access the web. And those users are estimated to spend over £60.5 billion online in 2016. And what's also interesting, 71% of disabled customers with access need will click away from a website if they find it difficult to use. And they have an estimated spending power of £11.75 billion in the UK alone. So this could be our customers. I would like to focus also a little bit on older people, because as we actually can see on this diagram, on the beginning of 2000, it was like less than 25% of people aged over 65 that use the internet. Now, in 2018, it's like 60–70% of them. And why it's so important? Because disabilities are strongly connected with age. And more older people, it means that we have more older users. It means that we have more users with disabilities. So we should really focus on this in this area. And ignoring accessibility and usability best practices, it means that we exclude some group of our customers. And I want to share you the quote of Susan Scott Parkand, and the CEO of Business Disability International, who conducted the survey after the results. And it's like, apparently, there are so many customers to go around that the UK business has decided it can ignore the 20% with disabilities, ignore the 10% of customers who are dyslexic, ignore that older customers with visual impairments, and the fact that the average reading age in the UK is between 9 and 11 years of age. And ignoring, and what else ignoring? I'm agree with her, because maybe I'm not a marketing guy, but, or girl, but I don't understand the strategy when we want to reach as many customers and people as is possible, and we exclude the group of people because of their health condition. It shouldn't work like that. It's like we are all extreme users sometimes, so we have to think about it from the beginning and provide the solution for all of us. And we can also use it in the marketing. So first of all, make your potential group, customers group expanded. So spend some money to implement this accessibility feature on the beginning. And maybe it will be worth more than some marketing campaign. I'm talking about the Christmas campaign, of course, but some smaller one. Maybe it will be also really worth this effort. And talk about it. Make the static page with compliance and feedback form. So first of all, inform your users that's working on this issue, and let them talk about what are their needs, what could be also improved on your store, and how this group could be bigger and bigger. And talk about this. Talk about your engagement in this area. So use the social media that show you that you respect that people with disabilities, that you think about them, not only about yourself. And it's really important that if they show this respect, they appreciate it and will be shop on your store more willingly. Also, like accessibility, go a little bit with search engine optimization. Not every aspect of accessibility covers search engine optimization and it's connected with it. But there is some, like page title, like headings, like alternative text for images, like link strategy. And we can focus on them on the beginning by developing our solution and don't thinking about when we're boosting our SEO results. And last but not least, legal requirements. I know that e-commerce solution, it's not the public sector. So according to the law, we're not forced to conform to any accessibility guideline. But in the point of view of discrimination, it could be received like discrimination fact to just excluding the part of customers. And it happens because in 2017, it was over 800 lawsuits about the inaccessibility websites, and some of them was won by the users. So just cover these cases. Just be covered and don't worry about this aspect. And how to start with the web accessibility? So I advise you to focus on the really basics, like HTML valid markup and semantic markup. HTML5 give us a lot of advantages in this area, so we can really use the tags on our website. Link strategy. Think about it in the search engine optimization, but also like for disabled people. For example, when you use the screen readers, you can search your website by the links, so where they lead to. And when you do it like better that click here and click here and click there and there is a button, it could be really more understandable and logical to use by the users. Also, alternative text for graphic elements. It's really important. Think about that it should be descriptive, not like we don't, for example, on our product page or catalog page, we shouldn't use the product name for, we shouldn't use the product name for the alt images. It should describe what the details on the image. So if you have 3 different images of table, one is black, one is white, and one is, I know, red with the green legs, let's focus on this. Let's present for the users who cannot reach the screen by their eyes. Color contrast. It's like the design matters more than the developing matters, but it's really important because for some texts on, I don't know, the light gray, for example, light gray text on the white background, it's not really readable for most of users. Have you had this problem, for example, on the website when you have some text on the image and you don't recognize some letters and you have to think about the word? We should like make the pages as simple as possible. Also the forms, like I said before, with labels and proper navigation and keyboard support that will be logical and well structured. And readability. So for the focus, readability for the cognitive disabilities, for the people with these impairments, it's really important because when we think about simple languages, a simple language on the website, it's like why we should force our customers to think about it, to think about how they should understand this phrase and the others. Let it simple, let's make it simple. And so I propose you to start with like test, audit, and repair your website. And I know that on the beginning it's like you don't know where to start. I'm focusing on this area for over a year, and I'm trying to implement the accessibility feature in Snow, the company. I'm trying to do it in the different ways by developing it on our pages, in our project, but also by training people. Because what is the most important, it's not one person work. It has to be, all team has to be engaged in this. So, and you have also the two main solutions, two main attitude. You can train an accessibility team to implement the feature step by step, to learn and to have the really learned people, trained people. Or you can also outsourcing this. So there's a lot of companies who focus only on this area, and founder of those company, they are contributed to WCAG, they know what they're talking about. They can help you to audit your website and tell what to do to improve them. And really, if you want to share the code with them, they also can help them with improvements themselves. So it's your choice. I hope that you are a little bit more convinced why accessibility is important. And I recommend you to start your accessibility journey. So thank you very much. If you have some questions, there is a time. I think I ran a little bit earlier, so if you have some questions, I'm ready. Okay, so thank you very much. If you want to catch me later, I'm today and tomorrow first. Thanks.